Franco back with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. France campaign begun 1890 on legendary difficulty. Our heavy cruisers encounter a stronger foe. Overall, the smaller but more advanced French Navy continues to whittle down a much larger but widely antiquated German fleet. What effect this might have on the German economy and naval budget is debatable. One could argue we're kind of clearing out their deadwood. But we are unquestionably imposing severe strains on the Kaiser's naval manpower. In the midst of this, however, a trio of our CAs runs into a German battleship much more advanced than any others we have seen to date. How will they fare? We've got this task force battle here in the North Sea, and this is two of our Vergniaud class dreadnoughts, 2 Rochambeau heavy cruisers, and 3 Cayman class heavy cruisers. Against one battleship, 2 heavy cruisers, and then quite a few light cruisers and a few destroyers. The overall tonnage, we've got almost twice the tonnage. Basically we've forced this engagement on this German task force. See, you've already got the end battle button, so it took me a while to find these guys. These destroyers? No, I don't think so. Okay, battleships look like they're in a fine position right where they are. Cruiser screen kind of turned here. Weather conditions. Daytime cloudy, calm, and calm. Not too bad. Pretty minimal impacts to accuracy there. Okay, that's got to be a light cruiser here. And that's a light cruiser. Light cruiser with 3.0 kilometer torpedo range. Ammo detonation on this light cruiser. (1897) sinking. I believe this light cruiser is going to be far behind. Ooh, that's an old one. That's CL-27. Lost track of my other cruiser. Oh, there they are. Let's bring this group over this way. Let's loop this division back around this way. No, the battleship was just about done there already. Surrendered for high casualties. Put this second cruiser division on follow and see what kind of hash the maneuvering can do with that. Wow, that was a big hit there. 6,500 penetration. 1531 sinking. Okay, we've got a couple of heavy cruisers here, one of which is already banged up quite badly. Let's get the let's finish off the battleship there. $2974 sunk. Even the ones that are not damaged aren't moving, and I wonder if that's because the battleship... I don't know why they're not. Yeah, 1290 not looking good. I wonder if she started with damage. Maybe multiple of these ships did. I think we've seen this class before. $1290 sunk. Bayern sunk for structural. Notable ship in that it has a name. Fairly uncommon in the German Navy. 6, 7, 8 getting a lot of attention. Some more smoke screens back up here. That's probably the DDs. I don't think we've actually spotted any of their destroyers yet. They've got 3, I think, in this group. Fish in the water. May as well loop the cruisers around anyway. Okay, 350 down. Now this heavy cruiser, 2490, next target. $5,000-ton CA, so it means it's a little bit older. Not bad on the weight offset. The auto designer. A bit low in draft. Almost 22 knots. Actually has more superstructure armor than most of the German battleships. It's not terribly armored. Stereoscopic 1 rangefinder. Some incoming 12.9 here. Miss. 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 We're whittling Germany down. We're avoiding that main battle fleet that they've got, their doomstack, as it were. But in these smaller battles, whittling them down. And that is going to eventually put them in a very bad situation. Because we're sinking ships for which they do not have crew to man replacements. Made the comment a couple of times, hey, we're doing Germany a favor by clearing all the deadwood out of, the old tech deadwood out of their inventory. Well, in terms of ships, that may be true. But these are irreplaceable losses in Germany's naval crew pool. I mean, that's essentially why Britain is kind of de facto no longer a naval power, despite her enormous economy. Britain might have 300, 400 ships. She just can't man them. Therefore, if she has them, they're mothballed and not showing up in the active ship list. And that's a result of multiple wars with Germany and Austria and Italy, but also us early in the campaign in the early 1890s. To the north, we had our own war with Britain and sank a lot of their ships, and they've had a tiny crew pool ever since. Germany is headed toward the same fate. Okay, I think, this is a surrendered ship. Basically, there's one destroyer, or perhaps a torpedo boat, left on the map, and we're at X30, so it's a long way off. I think that's the end of this battle. $3,200 victory points. One DD gets away. $8 and 74% for main gun accuracy on Vergniaud. However, those few hits did a lot of damage. 23,000 by Vergniaud and over 10,000 by Vercingetorix. Provence, 17,000. Because she set off some ammo detonations. So that's inflated a little bit. Good output from 3.9s in Strasbourg. And Strasbourg has some 2.9s. So this might actually, I think this might be the Cayman refit. Yeah, these are refit Caymans. Who got more out of their 3.9s. And that's probably something to do with the range at which these cruisers typically engaged. Whereas this Cayman is not refit. 4.9s and 3.9s. And coming out of that battle, Germany's had enough. Desperately asks us to sign a peace treaty. Should we accept? And as I always try to remember to point out, this is not us making the decision for France. This is the French Prime Minister, the French government, asking us, the Navy, our opinion. They might do something different. But yeah, I think we're going to continue whittling down the German Navy. The Navy's recommendation is to keep fighting here. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. British Empire, biggest economy, active fleet, 32 ships. Because they can't man any, right? Crew pool, 291. They could have tons of ships. They just can't man them. The next smallest crew pool is Germany. They're down to below 2,000. Now, they're in a state where they've got a pretty big replacement rate. But as we continue to sink these ships that have 200, 300, in the case of battleships, 600 or 700, 800 crew, they're not going to be able to keep up. And this active fleet, they'll never be able to get back up to that. So are we going to make Germany dissolve? No. Probably not. But we are in the process of eliminating them as a first-rate naval power in Europe. And we will continue doing that. Got to be mindful of our own crew pool. We started with the smallest crew pool, or one of the smallest. It's not enormous either. Ship losses hurt us as well. So we've got to be mindful of that. And that's one reason why I don't really want to tangle with this enormous fleet up here. We've taken the measure of the Germans' tech, their average tech among their ships. I got to think they got to have some that are better. And they might be up in this fleet. My thought is, even though, if I went into a big battle with that Doomstack, leaving aside all the technical, the frame rate, blah, blah, all that, but even if I were to go into a battle with this fleet, would we sink tons and tons of German ships? Yes. To the extent of winning the battle? I don't know. Ammo exhaustion might become a factor. But there's just so many ships that even though individually they're inaccurate, it would add up. And I think we would still lose quite a few ships, even if we sank many, many more of them in proportion. And I don't particularly want to lose the crew pool because our crew pool ain't huge. In any case, let's pop on into January 1912 and see what our government does. See if they make peace with Germany or not. The government continues the war. War continues between France and Germany. Yeah, we're starting to pick up a lot of negative relations with Italy. I believe we're going to be fighting the Italians again relatively soon. We picked up minus 7.6 in the East Med and also minus 2.6 in the North Atlantic. Austria-Hungary, it's been kind of a mixed bag for the past several months. We'll pick up a little negative relations somewhere, but then there will be some compensating positive relations in some other sea region. The general trend with Austria is a very slow improvement in relations. Not so with Italy. We're going to be back at war with them pretty soon. As a matter of fact, can I even look at the politics right now? No. Okay, we've got a heavy and a light Cayman class, a non-refit Cayman class, and a La Motte Piquet against 3 German cruisers, all of which are smaller displacement. And we are raiding one of their convoys. Let's have a look. Okay, we've just dropped X5, so we are spotted. Taking some fire. This cruiser, LeVay, I'm guessing, is basically soloing this battle because La Motte Piquet was placed at spawn in kind of long distance screening mode, and she's a billion miles away. Weather conditions are morning, cloudy, calm. Not too bad. Except for the part where they can see me, and I can't see them because of target signature. All of the German ships here, including their heavy cruiser, are smaller. Significantly smaller. Just giving them a target signature bonus. And LeVay is a Cayman class CA, therefore our oldest CA still in commission, which means she probably doesn't have a fantastic tower. Okay, this is not good. I'm going to keep trying to work toward them, but I'm going to try to keep LaVey turning. You know, she can't smoke up, but if she's in a little bit of maneuver all the time, that'll slightly degrade their accuracy. It would degrade mine too, but that, at the moment that's irrelevant because I can't see him, therefore I'm not shooting. Oh my goodness. There we go. At least we see something now. Okay, that's the heavy cruiser there. Let's turn her a little bit, get all of her gun mounts unmasked. Okay, we've lost vision on that heavy cruiser for the moment. Which means all we have to shoot at are these smoked up light cruisers. At least Lamont Piquet is close enough now that her little nameplate shows up, is visible. Okay, CL983, first victim. CA2440, making a little over 17 knots, just like us. We're actually a little bit slower than that. Still getting peppered by these light cruisers and destroyers back here. Okay, we've taken some damage to our forward funnel. And that seemed to be doing okay. 84% structure. 2440 is at 65%. It's taking some flotation damage aft as well. Lamont Piquet getting a little closer. LaVey getting some, maybe that's just Lav. Lav getting some pretty good production out of her 6-point units. She got 4 of them. Single turrets. 1 forward, 1 aft, and 2 right there midships. 2440, not having a good time with it. Pretty decent weight offset for the auto design. Not too hot pitch and roll. That's often the case on the earliest hulls. %0 superstructure. And not all that terribly well armored either for a CA. See these gun accuracies all below 2% compared to, I think Lav is getting at 19, 15, and 12. Oh, there's something over here. Okay, Lamont Piquet getting a little closer. I wonder if it's transports over here. I mean, the other warships are kind of back in this direction that we spotted. I bet that's transports. I just have a feeling it is. I think there were five German merchants in this convoy. Oh, got a light cruiser over here that Lamont Piquet has run into and is actually taking some damage from. And hopefully she's firing back at it. Yeah, she is. Ow! Ow! Not looking good for Lamont Piquet. Ow! Holy shit. Well, that didn't work out, so I guess I should just smoke up there. Well, she's kind of recovering. She's kind of recovering. Oh, and she set off flash fires in 1027. Nice job. Nice job. And she's coming back up in speed. We got something up in here, and that's probably the destroyer. We've apparently lost sight. You know, this might have been where that additional fire was coming from. Maybe there aren't any merchants over this way. Kind of looking for any additional fire. Not seeing any. Alright, let's kind of turn back this way. No, it's not a destroyer. It actually is a TB. S125. Okay. Not seeing any damaged compartments in here, so she may regain her propulsion damage. It does look like this compartment back here is permanently flooded. That's not getting dewatered. She making 11.2. Okay, TBS 125. And this heavy cruiser is just right over here somewhere. There she is. Well, it took a long time for Lamont Piquet to get into the fight, but get into the fight she did. She's doing a fine job. Two 440 still pounding out a lot of fire from her smaller secondaries. Lav doesn't have a very good angle here off of 2440's stern. She's up to 23% accuracy with her 6.9s. But I think that's just kind of a... I think this number probably is... There she goes. You know, I think the displayed accuracy is kind of just focused on kind of the midpoint, the center point in the target's hull, and probably doesn't factor in angle, and nor would it factor in, ricochet and things like that. Okay, fairly small action there. 761 victory points for us. Didn't spot any of the merchants, but we took care of all the escorts. Did take a fair amount of damage there. Lav actually back into the shipyard for medium damage. I would have thought Lamont Piquet was the one that would have more damage, but it's the other way around. I think on the CL, at one point it looked worse than it was, and she was able to recover all of her flotation. And she actually didn't take all that much superstructure or structure damage. But she's in the yard for 2 months, and Lav is in the yard for 3 months. Looks like they're both going to be in Le Havre. Right. I know they just introduced this crew recovery mechanic, but the numbers are tiny, right? You come out of a battle or at the end of a month and, recovered crew 1, 2. I think maybe the most I've ever seen from a sunken ship was something like 11 or 12 so far in this campaign. So I'm glad that they have this crew recovery mechanic in the game now. However, they're just tiny, tiny numbers. And it seems like it ought to be higher. It's my opinion. There is another convoy battle. Given its location, I suspect that we are attacking again here. We are. We have 3 cruisers, one of our Rochambeaus, the Roland, and 2 Caymans. Pretty big convoy, defended by a battleship and a light cruiser. Now, this battleship is almost 20,000 tons and comes in at a cost of over 11 million. So this is not a 1890 little pre-dreadnought. This is a later hull and probably has some better tech. Given that, well, and look at its main armament arrangement. Now, they're 9.4s, which is pretty small for a battleship, although it's plenty, we got heavy cruisers here. So it's light on the gun caliber, but it has 4 main turrets, unlike the earliest hulls. So this is something like a kind of a late pre-dreadnought, a experimental prototype dreadnought type ship. We'll see when we get in there, but I would guess this is probably going to be a fore, an aft, and 2 wing turrets on the 9.4s. Also interesting, doesn't have a lot of secondaries. 1 double mount of 1.5 and 2 single mounts of 4.5. That's it. Huh. Okay, enemy spotted. Due to target signature, that's almost certainly the battleship. So, yeah, it is. Look at that silhouette. Yeah, this is this is by far the most advanced German, well, not just battleship, but any ship, I think, design we've seen. All wing turrets, though. That's kind of odd. And as I mentioned, very little secondaries. I don't think that this battleship would provide much of a challenge to our own dreadnoughts. But depending on her tech, her towers, her rangefinder, she might actually be a little bit of a problem. Or our heavy cruisers here. We'll find out. Yeah. All HE. I bet our armor quality is a lot better than all these pre-dreadnought German BBs we've been seeing as well. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna... Our best shot, I think, is just let's go all HE on this thing and burn it down. See, it put the Rochambeau second in line. Rochambeau is a little bit faster ship, so she's kind of doing the serpentine thing. Now, it's a 9.4 hit, causing problems. Well, now Roland is the division leader. Let's detach Algeray. Tell her to retreat if she can. I don't know if that's going to be feasible. I think she's probably going to sink there. Yeah, let's go ahead and take care of this cruiser here, 2019. We don't need need to deal with her torpedoes or her small caliber fire. She's hanging on there with that, dewatering, spotting that flotation. Come on, a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. I don't know. We may not have an answer for this 1336. May not have an answer for her. C8 may not do the job. Now that we've got her identified, let's have another look. 15,000 ton. Ooh, very little longitudinal offset. Nice job, auto designer. A little bit lower draft. That's going to help her accuracy. A little bit wider beam. That's going to do the same. 23 knot ship. Faster than any of our Dreadnoughts. This might act, with this hull, actually, I think this might be a Dreadnought. At least a Dreadnought hull. Maybe her tech is preventing her from having a little bit better turret arrangement. 14.9 main belt. Over 5 inches of main deck. And low superstructure though. That could be her Achilles heel. She's got some fires. She's already taken some damage to both of her towers. And a little bit to the funnel. We can knock these towers out. Yeah, she's going to have a problem. But right now, she's got pretty good accuracy with those 9.4s, man. Stereoscopic 2. Citadel 3, Anti-Flood 3. Induced boilers. Yeah, this is one of the latest. I think this is probably one of the latest German designs. We are at very advanced tech level on the politics page and the finances page. And Germany is only average. But I'm seeing a lot of tech here that kind of match the maximum we have in those various categories. So this is a step up from what we've been seeing. Meanwhile, she is starting to take some structure damage. We have several fires going. So let's keep that up. Looks like Algeria may make it out of this after all. May. There was another pop on 1336's main tower, which did not knock it out. "31 fires for 900 damage," and of course some of that could have been on the light cruiser as well. Algeria is her target again. Let's move Roland in, get a little bit closer, maybe make her shift targets. To mention the, we're a little bit closer. Of course, she's got pretty good accuracy, but her stereoscopic rangefinder isn't helping as much at these closer ranges. I think I mentioned this an episode or two ago. I'm kind of rethinking the whole rangefinder thing. battleships and battle cruisers, once stereoscopics came available, I've always used them, thinking, well, yeah, these ships are supposed to be firing at long range. And that's the way to go. It turns out that's a true statement, except where's that break point where the stereoscopic is better than the coincidence? And I'm sure many of the folks who may be watching this video or this series probably aware of a gent named Godspeed Thunder. And he's pretty good about kind of analyzing all this stuff, and he really deserves a few more views on his videos. On he does videos where things like, which is better, the coincidence or the stereoscopic, or is barrel length really the big advantage that everybody thinks it is? Things like that. At the end of the episode, anyway, he recently put out a video about coincidence and stereoscopic rangefinders that I found interesting, and I will link it at the end of the episode alongside the series playlist. But the short version is, yeah, stereoscopic is better at long range. Out to like 30 kilometers. And then kind of in the 25 to 30 kilometer range, it's kind of a wash. And inside 25 kilometers, the coincidence is better. Well, we are not at a tech level here yet in 1912 where we are engaging enemy battleships at over 25 kilometer range. Therefore, I think I may have put stereoscopic rangefinders on our Dreadnoughts prematurely, right? Stereoscopic, maybe that needs to wait for like the 1930s, around the time, we're not getting those kinds of ranges because our ships can't see that far. We don't have radar. we don't have these massive tall towers yet. We're still engaging at ranges of like 15, 16, something like that at best, because we're not spotting them any further away than that. Well, we did take that ship down for extensive fire. But yeah, that was a little tougher. Algerie got popped pretty good there with a 9.4, and just a little bit better opposition than what we've been seeing. She did 3.4 at 3,400 damage and had an 8.4 main gun accuracy. If the caliber on her main armament had been a little bit higher, she landed 154 hits with 9.4s. If those had been, in the 10-inch, 11-inch range, you could have given these heavy cruisers some real problems. Even with the 9.4s, I mean, that's a pretty substantial gun against a cruiser. So, even, she wasn't undergunned against the opposition that we gave her, right, with heavy cruisers. I'm kind of surprised 154 hits didn't do a little bit better. Now, with the design philosophy I have, these cruisers are pretty heavily armed for heavy cruisers. In any case, there you have it. And oh, by the way, because it is a later tech, larger ship, we just deprived a thousand crew, another thousand crew from the German crew pool. Medium damage for Algerie. She's out for 4 months. Roland out for 2 months. I don't quite know how to pronounce this. I'm going to say Tempest. I'm pretty sure that's French for Tempest. Out for 1 month. As our relations, as I mentioned earlier, it looks like we're closer with Austria. We actually aren't. It's this Italy relations, which is continuing to deteriorate every month. Germany's crew pool actually just bumped up a little bit right there. Oh, that was from the last turn, and she's bringing in over 600 recruits per month. That makes sense. Yeah, that's right. Whereas per month, we're not actually bringing in that many at 167. And that is with crew training maxed out, right? I mean, that 167 is the best I can manage with my economy. I think that's just the legendary difficulty being reflected there. With our various repairs, let's see what we got here. So we're paying 76 million a month on maintenance. Fleet repairs only 2 million. It's not that much. We do have some ships being refit, and we're paying quite a bit in ship construction right now. We are still spending money on shipyard capacity. That's getting close to complete. So once this finishes, that'll help the budget a little bit. Although, it might not be a bad idea to keep building that shipyard size. We'll have to see what the economic and war situation is once this completes. I don't think there's anything in research that's all that terribly new from the last time I had a look a couple episodes. We're pretty close to a new cruiser. That's probably just a bigger 8,000-ton light cruiser. I don't know. I've got some light cruisers. I'm building a new class of light cruisers right now. In general, I don't tend to get very excited about light cruisers until reaching the modern hulls, which is still quite a few years away. I mean, we're on 7,000 right now. I think we're building a few. Close to another rangefinder. Coincidence 3 rangefinder is coming in a few months. Based on, like I was saying earlier, I'm almost tempted to refit our Dreadnought classes back to coincidence. I haven't 100% talked myself into that yet, but I might. Something that's close here on hull protection. Anti-torpedo 3 coming soon. Gun layout. I think we're still working toward the 2X superimposed guns. That's a really good layout advance. I like that coming. And I believe this was 11-inch guns, right? Yeah. 3 months away from 11-inch guns, which isn't going to require any action. I don't have to go back and refit the Diderots. They're just going to have Mark III guns. That's nice. Torpedo tubes. Tube mechanisms 3, which will help with weight and rotation speed and reload. Pretty close to steam gas torpedoes, which will increase our range. This is the tech that's going to get us out to over 6 kilometer torpedo range. I at one time thought up until pretty recently that this wouldn't require a refit. But what I'm seeing on the ships, torpedo ranges, both ours and the enemies, like those little 1.0 kilometer German destroyers. I mean, we've seen longer ranges with them. So we know that their tech is obviously much better than campaign start, but they still have 1.0 kilometer ranges on their old destroyers, therefore. And we're seeing the same thing with our ships, too. That's just an example. So apparently, to leverage this, you do need to refit. I don't think have to actually do anything. Well, you would, wouldn't you? You would have to change the propulsion tech in the design. Anyway, when this shows up, we'll have a look at that, and that's pretty close. Like my old eyes, I think that says 4 months. And this is all work in progress stuff down here that I don't think matters yet. They are working on the next major update, which will include the big global map and additional nations in the campaign, as mentioned a couple episodes ago. Was not specifically mentioned, but I wouldn't be surprised if that update also includes the introduction of their submarine mechanics. That will be interesting to see. My understanding has long been that we're not talking about submarines that are going to be designable, buildable in the ship designer, and that we would use in tactical battles. I don't think that's what's I don't think that's what's happening. I think this is going to be more of an abstracted thing where we invest in kind of like there will be another, maybe that's what this little blank space is. This is going to be our submarine investment. And we balance this slider against transport capacity and these others. And the investment we make into submarines plays into the transport losses for the opponent. And also, I would not be surprised if task forces occasionally take damage from submarine attacks and maybe even occasionally sunk ships. You got a big task force out there and boom, it's a new month and one of your battleships just got torpedoed and is sunk or is into the yard for 12 months repair or something like that. Those of you who may be familiar with an older game called Rule the Waves might find that familiar. And that's kind of the way that game handled submarines. And I suspect it's going to be something somewhat similar here. In any case, I think that will do for... Nope, not quite. Not quite. Let's just have a review here of where we're at. Oop, I need to hit the add crew button. That was a mistake. Matter of fact, I think I just went from last month to this month without crew getting added to our ships. But anyway, even on a wartime budget, we're still spending a lot of money here, and we're at a deficit. With almost 500 million in naval funds, we can sustain this deficit for quite a long time. But when peace comes, yeah. Now, a lot of these ships are going to go from sea control and in being down into limited. However, I don't think that this fleet is going to be sustainable on a peacetime budget. So when that happens, I think a lot of these Caymans are going to go. It's going to be time to scrap them. I think that Diderots are probably going to go, at least some of them. Maybe keep the 2 refits and drop the other 4. That's possible. Not saying I'm going to do it, but it's the kind of thing I got to think about here. Not only the Caymans may divest some of these Bouvine class CAs, and I may get rid of the Lamont Piquet class entirely. May. Not doing any of that during the duration of the current war. Oh, some our Barask class destroyers are all online now. And I forgot exactly what the Barask class destroyer. Oh, yeah. This is the destroyer where I actually dropped caliber from 5 3.9s to 6 2.9s. Anyway, we've got a nice batch of them, and they're all over in the Western Mediterranean at the moment. 4 in Nice and 4 in Toulon. I think we need to bring some of them over. Matter of fact, I think we've got a lot of destroyers sitting over in the West Med that aren't really... We don't have too much destroyer strength up here. No destroyers at all in Le Havre. Yeah. Let's bring some destroyers up. Okay. I think that will do for this episode. If you like what we're doing with the channel, then leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe if that strikes your fancy. If you're new to the series or just otherwise haven't seen all the episodes in this series and would like to, I'm linking the playlist here alongside that Godspeed Thunder video, which I mentioned earlier. At any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I appreciate it.